Women of Reddit, what's the dumbest thing a man has genuinely said or believed about women? Story 1. Tampons turn you on? One woman shared that a man she once talked to genuinely believed that women orgasm every time they insert a tampon. He actually said this with confidence. Every time you put one in, it must feel really good, right? She stared at him in stunned silence, trying to process what she'd just heard. Then she burst out laughing and said, "There's absolutely nothing sexy about periods, my guy." And it didn't stop there. The same man believed that bouncing during workouts must feel good, that vaginas physically change shape depending on how many people have explored the cavern, and that women's body hair just isn't natural. Oh, and apparently, if your junk is over 5.5 inches and built like a Coke can, if women love it because we all enjoy being mutilated, right? It's a miracle some of these people even manage to tie their own shoelaces. Story 2, Tuesday Sluts. This one's darker. A woman overheard a police officer in a pub casually refer to Tuesday sluts, his term for women who reported being raped over the weekend, but didn't come forward until Tuesday. He genuinely believed that waiting a couple of days to report trauma meant they were faking it for attention. The woman who heard this didn't scream at him or storm out. She offered to buy him a beer on the condition that he listened. He agreed. Over the next 30 minutes, she asked about his experience as a cop, his understanding of victims, trauma, and how people behave differently depending on their support systems or the presence of witnesses. Slowly, the realization started to hit him. His face changed. His buddy went quiet. He tried to apologize, but she cut him off. "Your apology means nothing. It's not for me. You failed victims and helped protect their abusers." She told him the only thing he could do was start talking to his fellow officers about it, but warned that doing that would take almost as much courage as reporting a rape in the first place. Then she sat there, pointed at him, and told everyone nearby what they'd been talking about. "7 years later, I'm still angry," she said. "And honestly, so are we." Story 3, your period is cheating? One woman's ex-husband came up with a theory so ridiculous it could qualify as fiction. He believed that when a woman sleeps with a new partner, it starts her period, as a biological way to wash the old guy out of her system. Why did he think this? Because a woman once said she was going to the bar after her divorce to wash her ex out of her system. He took that literally. So when his wife got her period, it stopped. They had sex and it started again. He accused her of cheating. It was her own husband, trying to solve her uterus like it was a conspiracy board. Story 4, IUDs don't hurt because no one told me they did. One woman shared her go-to question on first dates. "What's the most physical pain you've ever been in?" She answered, "Getting my IUD inserted. Twice." The guy responded, "That can't be true. No girl ever told me it hurts before," as if her personal pain was invalid because other women hadn't mentioned it to him. Another commenter replied that her doctor warned her against an IUD due to high pain levels in women who hadn't given birth yet, so her husband got a vasectomy instead. She didn't even realize how lucky she was until years later when she heard other women were given zero pain meds and told, "You'll be fine." Stories like these are frustrating, not just because of ignorance, but because they highlight how often women's pain experiences and knowledge of their own bodies are dismissed outright. It's not just silly, it's dangerous. A little education and empathy would go a long way. Story 5, women don't like pizza. A man once told a female coworker, "You can't really like pizza. You only say that so guys think you're low maintenance." Yes, this man believed pizza was part of a woman's dating strategy. She asked him, "So when I ate an entire large cheese pizza by myself last week, was that for a future boyfriend who wasn't even there?" He said, "Exactly. That's how deep it runs." Story 6, periods are just optional. A male manager told an employee to stop taking sick days for her period cramps. He said, "Just tell your body not to have it during busy season. You can control it if you focus." When she tried to explain how menstruation works, he said she was being dramatic and emotional. The kicker? He gave a workshop on wellness the next day. Header Story 7, you can't be an engineer, you have breasts. A woman in STEM recalled being told by a colleague that she must have gotten into the engineering program through diversity quotas. His reasoning? If you really liked math, you wouldn't dress feminine. Apparently, eyeliner is incompatible with logic gates. Story 8, women don't sweat. In a summer heat wave, a man in the office insisted women don't sweat. He said it was a masculine feature, and if a woman sweated visibly, something's wrong with her hormones. When his female coworker wiped sweat from her forehead, he looked at her with genuine concern and said, "You should get your testosterone checked." Story 9, the period scab theory. This story takes us back to high school, specifically biology class. The teacher had set up a cool anonymous question box. Students could ask anything, and I mean anything, and the teacher would answer without judgment. So naturally, the floodgates opened. Teenagers being teenagers, the questions quickly turned into stuff about bodies, puberty, and all the things everyone was too embarrassed to ask out loud. That's when one of the boys hesitantly asked, "Do girls get a crust or a scab when they have their period?" The room went silent. Everyone blinked. The girls looked at each other like, did he actually say that? He genuinely believed that a period was some sort of wound that scabbed over inside the body, and that this was what women were dealing with once a month, as if we were just walking around healing from a major injury, crust and all. But what makes this story weirdly wholesome is that the boy wasn't trying to be gross or rude. He was just that confused. And to be fair, it kind of made sense if you squint your eyes and completely ignore science. The girl who told the story even laughed about it afterward. She said, "I'm just glad we don't kurg every time we take a step during our periods." And honestly, same. Story 10, going to the gyno is basically cheating. This next one is a blend of insecurity, control issues, and a stunning lack of anatomical understanding. So, this woman had a boyfriend who, at first, seemed incredibly understanding when she mentioned she had to go in for a routine gynecological checkup. He was even sympathetic about how uncomfortable it might be, and she appreciated that. But then he explained why he was so understanding. Apparently, his stepsister had gotten into a massive fight with her boyfriend over her own gyno visit. That boyfriend had accused her of going to the appointment just so she could get fingered by the doctor, not examined, um, not screened for illness, fingered. He believed she was going there because she wanted to enjoy it. So, yeah, he yelled at her, fought with her about it, and tried to stop her from going. And here's the kicker. The woman's own boyfriend admitted that if he hadn't witnessed that fight between his stepsister and her boyfriend, he might have thought the same thing. He said, "I wouldn't have believed you really needed to go to the gynecologist if it weren't for them fighting about it first." The woman was shocked. She realized she dodged a serious red flag, only barely, because the only thing saving her from also being accused of cheating at the doctor's office was that her boyfriend had already seen someone else go through it. The wildest part about these stories isn't just the ignorance, it's how normal it seems to them. Like, yeah, sure, vaginas scab over like scraped knees. Or sure, getting a pap smear is the same as hooking up. What's next? Women only go to the dentist for the tongue depressor? What these stories really show is how badly we need basic education, and how some of these beliefs don't come from cruelty, but just never having to think about it, which is why it matters that we talk about it. If you're a guy and you don't think gynecologists are pleasure zones, congrats, you're already ahead of the curve. Let us know in the comments, what's the weirdest, dumbest, or most off the wall belief you've ever heard someone say about women's bodies? Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more incredible Reddit tales. Share your thoughts or your own experiences in the comments below. I love hearing from you all. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring those amazing stories.